Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be upon us to all my dear colleague. It was a very great pleasure for me to be able to join this international conference on community development 2021, organized by five distinguished private university in Indonesia, Said University, Universitas Budi Luhur, Universitas Profesor Dr. Mustopo Bragama, Binus University, and Universitas Mercubuana. And I would like to express my gratitude to all the committee for letting me deliver my presentation today. And now I would like to share my screen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my presentation entitled Management of Xinjiang Oil Energy and Nuclear Energy Sources in the People's Republic of China in Post-Cold War, observing the supporting and inhibiting factors and their relevance with environmental issues. China is one of the countries that is blessed with abundant energy sources. It has sources of coal, oil, gas, biomass, and so on. However, so far the PRC is very dependent on the presence of coal. However, like other non-renewable fossil energy, the supply of coal itself is getting depleted. According to Carbon Dioxide Information Analysis Center, or CDIAC, the PRC's dependence on coal so far has brought losses to the PRC itself, namely the high levels of carbon dioxide emission contained in the PRC's air. Objective, because energy is related to the political field, it cannot be separated from the formation and implementation of country's policies. So is the PRC. So how can China's energy policy deal with the increasing demand for energy? And what about the supporting and inhibiting factors? My methods, the PRC government implements an energy policy consisting of a short-term plan, a medium-term plan, and a long-term plan. The agency responsible for this is the State Planning Commission, or SPC. These include the Energy and Field Planning Bureau and the Energy Conservation Bureau. To facilitate its work, each energy sector has its own ministry, which so far includes the ministers of coal industry, nuclear industry, petroleum industry, water resources, and electric power. It is also assisted by research institutions such as the Atomic Energy Research Institute and Ministry of Nuclear Energy, Institute of Nuclear Energy Technology in Tsinghua University, Research Institute of Petroleum Exploitation and Development, Ministry of Petroleum Industry, and so on. Wasserstrom and Perry in 1992 state that in the context of the PRC, to analyze change must be related to the interactive relationship between society, economy, policy, and culture. Because the energy that will be discussed use new technology and will change China not only socially but also culturally with the inclusion of foreign workers and infrastructure. The critical attitude of the community can be understood through this approach. And in looking at the relationship between sustainable economic growth, peaceful domestic condition, and energy policy, May in 1988 state it as follows. Sustainable economic growth really requires peaceful domestic condition and rational energy policies. This thought is important in order to see the PRC's domestic condition, including the environmental issue. Result and discussion. I have two case studies. First, petroleum management in Xinjiang. The supporting factors. First, the level of PRC's domestic energy demand is increasing. Second, oil reserves in this area can be said to be quite abundant. Third, the existence of cooperation with neighboring countries in order to meet the supply of oil and facilitate oil trade. Fourth, quite a large amount of foreign investment has been invested in this area. What about inhibiting factors? First, the lack of infrastructure of this area. Second, the issue of autonomous governance and ethnicity and religion in this region. Next, the second case studies. About nuclear energy development, the supporting factors. First, there is an urgent demand for energy availability for present and future PRC domestic electricity needs. Second, the fact that China has large uranium reserve. Third, there is foreign interest to cooperate and invest in this field. The inhibiting factors. First, there is a bad precedent regarding the management of nuclear reactors in the world, which causes environmental and radiation damage. Second, the negative world view of the PRCs regarding the use of nuclear power. Third, students and governmental organizations are ready to attack government policies if they make the slightest deviation. And the conclusion, bringing together the supporting factors and inhibiting factors from the two cases above, so far the visible trend is that the PRC government will continue to strive to maintain its energy policy, but by making improvements that are felt to be very necessary in order to be effective. However, there are still many shortcomings that need to be eliminated immediately by the PRC. What has been carried out as described above is the first step, which is the motivation for the next step, if the PRC really has a strong desire for its energy policy, especially the management of the two energy sources mentioned above. Do not let it happen that the PRC is only concerned with meeting its energy need, but ignores safety, security, and environmental aspects, both domestically and internationally. Thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be upon us. Success for us.